No way this is happening. The New York Knicks may have made a major mistake by trading Julius Randle, who's red hot to start the season, while Karl Anthony Towns is still finding his footing with New York, and I'm going to break this down. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into the video as always. Yes, I know how young the season is, but I did not like the trade when it happened, and I'm not going to go into full detail of me saying I hate the trade because I have obviously backtracked a lot on that, so I'm not just going to keep switching back and forth. But I am going to say that, objectively, to start this season, Julius Randle has been the better player than Karl Anthony Towns. And that's pretty terrifying if you're a New York Knicks fan who's watched the Knicks, watched Randle and the Knicks succeed together, and now we're watching Karl Anthony Towns not exactly have the same hot start with his new team the way that Julius Randle has had. So, guys, let's just jump into it because, obviously, a lot has been going on. And if you take a look, Julius Randle has a new record for the most points in the first two games as a member of the Minnesota Timberwolves, clearing that by a wide margin. And then also, the man is doing it efficiently. Julius Randle, since joining the Minnesota Timberwolves, has been hitting shots at an above-average percentage rate from almost every part of the field outside of the right corner and at the higher part of the paint near the free throw line, a free throw midi. Outside of that, we have seen Julius Randle play phenomenal, efficient basketball on a team where it looks like he should not have any business playing phenomenal, efficient basketball, as the Minnesota Timberwolves have really weakened their shooting in the front court. I mean, I just had to take a pause and emphasize it because, look, I mean, Jaden McDaniels last year shot 31% from three. Julius Randle shot 31%. Rudy Gobert can't shoot at all and doesn't shoot at all. Anthony Edwards is a great shooter, yes, but then you also have Mike Conley, who's a great shooter, and that's about it. Or Donte Divincenzo, who actually has had an atrociously slow start. We'll also jump into that. But just diving back into all of this, we're seeing Julius Randle start this season at an incredibly hot rate. And Karl Anthony Towns has not done the exact same. Now, Towns does not look bad by any means, and I'm not trying to say he does. But this season, Randle's putting up 24 points per game with around 8 rebounds that are clearly being diminished by Rudy Gobert being there. It doesn't matter, though, because what Julius is doing is he's getting 4 assists per game, while also shooting 63% from the field, 54% from 3, hitting his free throws as per usual, and has a higher PER than his career average. So far into this season, Julius is on track to be the exact same player that we know and that I still love. I mean, he's going to be a 4-time All-Star if this keeps up. He's going to be a 3-time All-NBA player if this keeps up. And there's going to be a lot of talk that the New York Knicks made a massive mistake by trading him if Julius keeps up this basketball. Now, even if Karl Anthony Towns starts to play well, people are going to say the Knicks made a mistake. And why is that? Because people cannot wait to say the Knicks screwed something up. And I'm not going to go out there and be the same, saying, oh, the Knicks made a massive mistake. I said at the time of the trade I didn't really like the trade. I think, yes, it gives the Knicks a higher ceiling, but it also gives them a lower floor. But you guys know that we do not have to talk about this trade as much. Where we really just need to talk about the fact that the Knicks, now, at this point, a few games into the season, things look a little worse for them. I mean, Karl Anthony Towns, through 2 games, has put up 16.5 points with 11 rebounds. Yes, he's shooting really well. His PER is phenomenal. The man looks efficient as ever. He's just still trying to find his spots. And look, for Towns, this is a massive adjustment. I mean, you're playing center again after multiple years of power forward. You have to be the second scoring option, but there's this Knicks team that has so many scoring options, whether it's Jalen Brunson, one of the best scorers in basketball, or having Mikal Bridges, having OG Anunoby, who on any given night is going to give you 20 points, having Deuce McBride, who's a very good scorer off the bench, and now is the second best odds for rookie of the year, for sixth man of the year. There's less shots to go around for Karl Anthony Towns than there are for Julius Randle, and that's certainly part of this, especially when you consider how well Karl has shot and played offensively to start the season. But the Knicks defense does look a bit worse. Look, guys, I still am frightened by this move, if I'm being honest, after this time, and I think most Knicks fans should be. Karl looks great, and I think he's going to get better, and the volume's going to go up, and obviously he's not going to keep shooting 75% from 3. But the man's a career shooter of over 50% from the field, so we'll see that stick around. I believe we will see Towns shoot over 40% from 3 on the season. the man can become so dangerous for the New York Knicks, and as time goes on, he's going to figure out his role, and he's absolutely going to do that. I imagine he'll get up to 23, 24 points per game at some point. I hope he holds the 11 rebounds down, but the Knicks do look much different from this trade, and now looking at this, I mean, did anyone expect Julius Randle to be the guy who has the hot start to the season between him and Karl Anthony Towns? When this trade went down, it felt like everything fell into place for Towns, and nothing was falling into place for Julius Randle, and clearly Julius looks like everything fell into place perfectly. He's getting standing ovations. I mean, the man's going out there saying how much he loves playing in Minnesota and how much Anthony Edwards likes to have him. As Edwards said, I told him, meaning Julius Randle, this morning, don't fit around us, we'll all fit around you. The Timberwolves have decided to let Julius Randle completely cook, and clearly that's something the Knicks didn't do, and that's why Randle has been able to put up these stats. At the same time, the other guy the Knicks gave up in the trade, in Donte Divincenzo, has not put up these stats whatsoever. Through 3 games, Donte's putting up 11.7 points per game, which is obviously down from his 15.5. Also, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 7.4 PER, 28% from 3, 33% from the field. I mean, Divincenzo is a guy who Timberwolves fans are really, really excited about. I think most of them are more excited about him than Randle, and now they're seeing exactly why, Julius is better than him. And I don't think that Timberwolves fans are dumb enough to think that Julius is worse than Divincenzo, but it just felt like the Divincenzo loss is what everyone was freaking out about. And it feels like everything that everyone expected to happen is completely backwards. Divincenzo's not flourishing in Minnesota so far. Karl Anthony Towns is kind of having not a slow start, but is still trying to figure his way out on a new team. And Julius Randle has just gotten right down to business. I feel like that's definitely not what people expected out of this trade. No one really saw all of that coming, but Julius has been nothing short of phenomenal for the Minnesota Timberwolves. It's still weird to see him in that jersey. He was on the Knicks for so long, spending 5 years with the Knicks. And look, I do think that Randle is going to be able to fit better in most places than people expect because how competitive he is, how willing he is to play any role to win a championship. But at the same time, he is a tough fit for some teams, including Minnesota. And once teams start to figure out the Timberwolves and game plan against them seriously and learn what this team is like, I'm curious to see what happens in the long run with this. I still don't think this is a good trade for the Timberwolves in the long run. Meanwhile, with the Knicks, obviously teams are ready for the 5 out a little bit more than they are for whatever the hell Minnesota is going to try to run with a lot less shooting. But at the same time, we've seen Karl Anthony Towns not exactly have a very loud game. Now, his second game against the Indiana Pacers, he looked great. Miles Turner did something that upset Towns, and then from there, Towns went on to cook him. And I'll be honest, guys, I do think Towns is going to be an all-star this year. I think Towns is going to be great on the Knicks. I think he's going to have a great season with the Knicks. And I think with him, it's just going to take time for him to figure out this rapport with a superstar point guard. Yes, he's played with a superstar guard in Anthony Edwards, but he's never played with a point guard as good as Jalen Brunson, who's just such a true floor general and one of the best floor generals in basketball. And I think that's definitely a tough adjustment for a guy like Cat, who wants to have the ball in his hands when he tries to score, but also is such a talented off-ball player. And I'm really excited to see how this continues to work out. Obviously, on the day I'm recording this video, Monday, October 28th, there's a game tonight against the Cleveland Cavaliers. We're going to see Towns go up against one of the best defensive big men in Evan Mobley in the league. And it's going to give a lot more insight to what this season's going to look like. But it's so young. I'm not worried at all. But it is really wild to see the fact that Julius Randle has gone out there and done nothing but ball out for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Let me know what you guys think down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day, and go Knicks.